What is happening inside Ukraine's state sector right now? Why has the government announced one of the largest audits in recent years? And why is this decision attracting so much attention across Europe? And perhaps the most important question, how could this new audit influence relations between Kyiv and its international partners, especially those who provide financial support? Today, many observers are asking the same thing. Is this simply a planned check of state-owned companies, or is it a deeper attempt to rebuild trust between Ukraine and its allies? European governments, financial institutions, and policy experts are closely following each step, trying to understand whether this marks a new phase in Ukraine's reforms or whether it reflects growing concerns about how international assistance is being managed. At the center of the discussion is one of Ukraine's most strategically important companies, Energoatom, the operator of the country's nuclear power plants. When such a major enterprise becomes part of an audit, the international community naturally wants clarity. Why now? What exactly will be reviewed? And what could this mean for future cooperation? These questions are becoming increasingly relevant as several EU member states express unease over how some financial resources allocated for Ukraine are being used. Their comments are not presented as accusations, but as a request for greater transparency, better reporting, and a stronger commitment to ensuring that public funds, especially those intended to support the country in a time of crisis, are managed responsibly. All of this creates a moment of high interest, a moment when Ukraine's internal decisions connect directly with the wider European debate about long-term stability, accountability, and shared responsibility. And today we will take a closer look at what exactly is going on. Ukraine has officially announced a large-scale audit of its state-owned enterprises, describing it as part of a wider strategy to strengthen internal management and reduce risks of financial mismanagement. According to Ukrainian officials, this initiative is intended to modernize key sectors of the economy, improve efficiency, and demonstrate openness to both domestic citizens and international partners. One of the most notable elements of the audit is the inclusion of Energoatom, the national nuclear operator. This company plays a major role not only in Ukraine's energy security, but also in the stability of the regional energy system. Because of its importance, any review of its operations naturally attracts attention from Europe, where energy-related issues remain one of the top policy priorities. Ukrainian authorities state that the audit will examine financial flows, management procedures, contract transparency, and long-term investment plans. The goal, they say, is to identify areas where the system can be improved and to ensure that all resources are used effectively. Analysts note that this can also help reduce unnecessary expenses and strengthen public trust. At the same time, some EU countries have expressed concerns regarding how part of the international assistance provided to Ukraine is being allocated. These concerns are not framed as direct criticism, but rather as a signal that European partners want clearer reporting and stronger mechanisms of control. Several European officials have recently emphasized that transparency is essential when significant amounts of financial support are being offered. For EU governments, the main issue is ensuring that every contribution is used for its intended purpose, whether it involves economic recovery, infrastructure rebuilding, or institutional reforms. In this context, Ukraine's decision to launch a broad audit is seen by many experts as a proactive step, a way to show that Kyiv is open to external scrutiny and willing to improve internal governance. International economic analysts point out that large-scale audits are common in countries undergoing structural changes. They help create predictable conditions for investment, reinforce the credibility of state institutions, and create a stable environment for long-term partnerships. Energoatom, being a cornerstone of Ukraine's energy system, naturally becomes a priority for such reforms. The audit could also influence future negotiations between Kyiv and the European Union. As Ukraine continues its path toward deeper integration with Europe, issues related to public sector efficiency, anti-corruption practices, and corporate governance will remain at the top of the agenda. An open and detailed review of state-owned companies could therefore strengthen Kyiv's position in these talks. Another important aspect discussed by analysts is timing. The announcement comes at a moment when several EU members are reassessing their long-term commitments and financial involvement. In this environment, demonstrating strong internal controls may help Ukraine maintain confidence.